Hello, my lovely people. This will be an exciting show today. Guaranteed lots of really good stuff. And yes, I'm still sitting down, but that's not going to take away from the content here today. So let's jump in. Today, I'm going to turn off my little face if I can make sure it's actually running. Hopefully it is. Hey, Sean and T&D Tesla, thank you all for coming. Let's jump into the story. So basically, we are going to be heading into the craziest week of 2024 next week. I'll explain why. We'll look at the huge action into the ETFs over the last 11 days and what whales are up to. Also, open interest smashing records, Sol smashing records, engagement smashing records, lots of black hole stuff, lots of weekly analysis. We'll touch on NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, and so much more. But a big focus, of course, as always, on crypto, because that's what's hot right now and not financial advice. Let's get into what I call the Bitcoin black hole and why we should all be very excited. So if you look at the history of Bitcoin weekly returns from CoinGlass, shout out to Mr. 2J as well, who inspired me for this one today. You can see that of all the weeks of the year, we're heading into week 44. Week 44, which is the last week in October, is historically the best week of the year. We shall see if that pattern continues. And things are already kicking off right now. We had a little bit of saber rattling stuff, did some posts earlier on Patreon regarding exactly what's going on. And next week is shaping up to be quite exciting. But let's get into some more black hole stuff. Hey, Master Mike, see you out there. Thank you, buddy. You should have put that towards your Guinness fund. But ETFs have pulled in over $3 billion in Uptober so far. This is crazy. So something is up. The ETF sense that things are looking pretty bright. This is how many Bitcoin were absorbed in just 11 days. Remember, 450 Bitcoin are issued a day. The 9 ETFs sucked in 51,000 Bitcoin in 11 days. Much of it by one player called Blackrock. That's the red line here. And this is what I call the third zone of accumulation that's going on right now. And other stuff is happening behind the scenes too. Not just the ETFs, but whale holdings are also at an all-time high. Whales currently hold about 670,000 Bitcoin, which is the highest value ever from the team at CryptoQuant. Undoubtedly, this is an optimistic long-term sign. Remember, the whale holdings is not the ETF holdings. Different bag holders altogether, but still substantial. Now, let's talk about some more stuff too. The CME, Bitcoin open interest, hits another all-time high too. Again, Bitcoin's macro momentum appears very strong, with OI, open interest, reaching an all-time high of $33 billion. And this peak signals a very high level of engagement among traders as more capital flows into Bitcoin, despite a little bit of liquidations yesterday with some saber rattling. But you'll know what went down there if you read the posts. Anyhow, if this elevated open interest continues, it suggests that the trader confidence is not shaken at all. And in fact, it signals that both institutional and retail investors are backing Bitcoin with substantial capital. For those of you who may have seen the all-in pod yesterday, the guys spent a lot of time talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin for them being the chosen asset for the next period that's coming. Crazy to see. In addition, a little pattern here, Nayib Bukele, he says the IMF, the World Bank, Federal Reserve, and the mainstream media hate that we adopted Bitcoin. Message there somewhere. Do you trust the IMF? Do you trust the World Bank? Do you trust the Fed? Do you trust media? Well, he doesn't, and he's a very smart fellow. So do what smart people do, everybody. Don't believe anything else that you will see in other places. Just a quick reminder. Now, another piece of super exciting news as well as this. Jamie Coutts, friend of the channel, he's been on the show. He put out some Bitcoin scenario modeling. And I like it because I'll do the same thing. I do what I call EV probability scenarios, the expected value probability scenarios. And that's exactly how our profit-taking model is configured. And here, he plugged in some probability of certain things happening, like M2 growth, cycle proportionality, price regression channel mean, and some standard deviations. And he allocated different probabilities to different price targets. So 15% chance of 100K, and it's unlikely that M2 is going to regress. It's only going to expand. So that means there's a small chance of $100,000 Bitcoin, which is good. He has a 60% chance of $170,000 Bitcoin, which I thought was pretty crazy. And by the way, peak, you can see the date there. That is the 19th of August, 2025. So basically, August, summer next year, which actually is in line with where tops could typically happen. A 20% chance of 234K and a 5% chance of 500K. You add all these together, your expected value of this bull run by summer 2025 is $189,000. Now remember, that's way above what I expect. But considering some of the good things happening right now, like the stacking happening from the ETFs, the money printing that's happening in many lands across the place, the uncertainty out there in the world, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. But anyway, remember, don't get greedy. We'll see where this goes, and I'll be monitoring it very carefully as well. So shout out to Jamie Coutts. In addition, this is from Standard Chartered. This one has been firing around the internet. Shout out to Sanjay as well for sharing. They basically believe Bitcoin could soar to $125,000 by December. Let's see where this lands here. That's kind of also not beyond the realm of impossible considering Jamie's predictions. But they did say it's 125K if one thing happens. I won't get into details about that. And it's 75K if another thing happens per Standard Chartered. And they are very, very big Bitcoin bulls. Let's get into some crypto right now. So the top 50 crypto from the Crypto Compendium. We have hundreds of dashboards and we share them when they are appropriate. But this one is the price change, and the top chart is the price change over the last 7 days, which actually was taken before Solana went on a rampage. So it shot up another 4% since this was taken, but it's up 10% for the week. And the price change of the top 50 digital assets over the last month. And the winner is Doge, Sol second, and you can pause it and dig into exactly what's going on. But it's surprising how many names are actually doing very badly. Again, black hole, you've heard me say 1,000 times, black holes happen. Now, I also have been talking about the third big accumulation in session. Here, you can see it as clear as day. We had accumulation session 1 back in Feb through April 2024. Then we had the June through August accumulation session number 2. And then we had the first couple of weeks in September kind of sucked red. So if you look at the whole period, these things have been around for over 200 days, trading days right now. And the amount of non-accumulation periods are very, very slight. And that's also corresponds when people go risk off. Now, I believe we are in the third big accumulation session, and that is what it looks like, which is, again, pretty exciting and pretty impressive. Let's look at some other stuff that's happening in crypto as well. Ethereum is the top in terms of community engagement, but guess what's coming up very quickly behind? There's about 3.5 million Twitter people engaged on Ethereum and nearly 3 million now on Solana. And number 3 is Matic. Number 4 is Near. Number 5 is Avalanche. Number 6 is Cardano. Number 7 is Sui. And number 8 is Cosmos. It's amazing. There can be a lot of community engagement for some assets and also no return. So don't use this as an indicator of when things will go up. Now, speaking of the black holes, this one took me a little bit by surprise from Solana Floor. Solana becomes the second largest protocol by fee earnings in the last 24 hours after Tether that made $13.37 million, Solana $4.55 million, Jito Sol $4.43 million, Raydium 4.12 million, Circle 4.13 million. But what's important to note as well, again, if you look at these top 6, even though a lot of the Circle small transactions actually happen on the Solana blockchain, it has it listed here as the chain being Ethereum, but that's going to be flipped soon. But soon, 4 of the top 6 money makers in crypto, I believe, will all be running on the Solana blockchain. Again, everything is going there. Now, speaking of another chain, Raydium, which is just one DEX on Solana, beats the entire Ethereum in 24-hour fee revenue. Again, it's kind of bonkers to see all this stuff shake out. Also, very exciting as well to be part of it. And Raydium, again, just a single DEX on Solana has crushed it. It is recovering very nicely in this bull run. And yeah, it's keeps on chugging along. So not all is lost. Now, another view of Raydium as well. You can see here it is right now for this 24-hour period. Remember, things fluctuate, etc. But we ain't seen nothing yet for the crypto market. I think really big adoption, really big DEX volumes will happen in very short order. But you can see here Ray is number 4 after Tether and Circle on this chart as well. Again, it's basically one chain to rule them all. And as I shared about a week ago, I think 52% of all crypto users are on one blockchain. Okay, that's 30,000 protocols. 52% are on one chain. Winner takes most. It's the way of the universe, and it never fails, and that's just what it is. Now, we did have a little bit of a kick in the teeth yesterday, a little bit of a FUD storm. That was Wall Street Journal alleging U.S. probe into Tether. And the Wall Street Journal, some believe, like Ordoino, believes Wall Street Journal is regurgitating old noise, full stop. Remember I said a minute ago? Shout out to Nayib Bukele. He said, the IMF, the World Bank, Federal Reserve, and the mainstream media hate that we adopted Bitcoin. Also, you can't trust them. Remember that. So I hope I don't get pulled down for this. Oh, well, who cares? Anyway, Tether also denied the claims of the investigation in an official statement, and they slammed the Wall Street Journal for irresponsible reporting. These stories are based on pure rank speculation, despite Tether confirming that it has no knowledge of any such investigation into the company. But again, the good thing about that was it gave us a buying opportunity to load. And back to Solana here, it's the only chain with 6.6 million daily active users yesterday. And people think it's a chain just for meme coins. I just want to dispel that FUD for a second. If you look at meme coins here, 126,000 users of 6.6 million play with the meme coins. But 5.1 million of the users are DeFi users. That means they trade, they use DEXs, etc. And that is huge. Again, 78% of what people do on Solana is DeFi, which I've always said it's the number one use case for crypto as we go forward. So it's good to see that that's changed. And when you look at other chains too, they don't have that spread. You've got one chain that has a huge amount of users, but they're all social users. I will not name what it is. You have another chain that has a ton of users, but it's only stablecoin. So what I've always said from the beginning, you want a breadth of dApps for a blockchain so people can do a whole bunch of different things, not just be one-trick pony. Let's talk about stocks for the week as well. We had, as I always say too, risk happens fast. It's very nice to see that phrase being used around there now as well. But one name up 22% for the week. And that shows you how quickly things can move in markets, both crypto and otherwise. But that is a massive move, basically more than a fifth of the market cap, nearly a quarter, just in 2 days. And that's crazy. Microsoft is up 2.39%. There was also talk this week of Microsoft maybe voting on whether they should add Bitcoin to their balance sheet as a treasury. NVIDIA up 2.56%, continues to break new all-time highs, which is crazy. Apple down 1.5%. Google up 1%. But again, Tesla stole the week. And remember, the other good thing about Tesla too, Q3 and Q4 are always very strong. In fact, Q4 always crushes Q3. Shout out to Paloli, who put this beautiful chart together. Look at the red arrows of what Q4 does in relation to Q3. We had blowout earnings in Q3, and Q4 is always better, sometimes substantially better. And we'll see what happens this Q4. But again, nothing but tailwinds for Tesla into 2024, late 2024 and 2025, I believe. I've been talking about this as well for quite a while. And this is going into a new phase of growth and a new phase of incredible profitability. And this whole setup right now reminds me of the year 2020. We all know what happened then too as well. That's when basically Tesla did a 9x in months. Not saying it's going to happen this time. It's a bigger asset, but we'll see. And NVIDIA smokes Apple. NVIDIA surpasses Apple's market cap with $3.53 trillion and becomes the world's most valuable company. For those who believe AI is a bubble and not real, well, it is. And as I said as well, it was kind of interesting. I did say when these Google goggles Vision Pro came out, I said, nobody's going to buy these at $3,500. Nobody at all. And as it turns out, Apple have scaled back production of the Vision Pro because nobody is buying them. It's just too much money and it's too uncomfortable, and who wants a perpetual migraine? So that prediction was correct. Let's talk about a little bit of macro stuff as well. Again, the type of stuff coming out of Europe, and I feel sorry because a lot of people here in my audience are from Europe, and I find it very alarming. But this is from Ursula von der Leyen, and she joined the ranks of people, WEF, World Economic Forum, people like John Kerry and other globalist ghouls, in declaring the war on free speech by perversely proclaiming that the EU citizenry needs to be vaccinated against disinformation. The choice of words I find alarming after all we've been through since 2020. And this is from Tyler Durden. And I just find it shocking. The most important thing for us out there as people is to be able to speak freely. And the governments are losing control, and they are panicking, not controlling the one true narrative. And you can see it. There's breaking signs everywhere. So again, wherever you are electing around the world, make sure you elect candidates that are pro-free speech. Once they take your speech away, that's it. It's game over. You're toast. And finally, sadly, after all the saber rattling this week, the Pentagon approves arms sale to Taiwan of about $2 billion in a package. And that is an advanced air defense missile system battle tested in the Ukraine. So I don't like weapons of war. I don't like war. I like peace. But hopefully, maybe, we can always hope that perhaps that will prevent war, which is a good thing. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I'll be back tomorrow, noon Pacific, for the live Q&A, tackling all your questions from the week. And as usual, they get better and harder, and I love doing them. Thank you all for coming. Have a great weekend, everybody. And a big thank you to, let me turn this off so you can see me in full. A big thank you to Sean Donnelly and T&D Tesla and all the usual gang, and Margaret and Ryan and Piper up there in Canada. Hope the winter hasn't hit yet. Actually, it has, because I've been watching Søren Basher on Twitter. He was in an ice storm near Calgary. Anyway, take care, everybody. Winter's coming in. Stay warm. Bye-bye.